want to talk to you about life. It's just too difficult to be alive, isn't it? And to try to function. There's just all these people you have to deal with. I tried to buy a can of tuna fish at the supermarket, and there was this person standing right in front of where I wanted to reach out and get the tuna fish. So I waited a while to see if they'd move. And they didn't. They were looking at the can of tuna fish too. But they were taking a real long time looking at it, reading every ingredient like it were a book. If you ask me, a really boring book. But nobody has. So I waited a real long while and they didn't move. And I couldn't get to the tuna fish cans. I thought about asking them to move, but then they seemed so stupid not to notice that I needed to get by them. And I just had this awful fear that it would do no good. No good at all to ask them. They'd probably say something like, "We'll move when we're goddamn ready, you nagging bitch." And then what would I do? And so I started to cry out of frustration, really quietly, so not to disturb anyone. Still, even though I was softly sobbing, this stupid person didn't grasp that I needed to get by them. And so I reached over with my fist and I brought it down really hard on his head and screamed, "Would you kindly move, asshole?" And the person fell to the ground and he looked totally startled. And there was this child nearby crying, and I was still crying. And so I shouted at the kid to stop crying. And it was just trying to put attention to me. And I ran out of the supermarket and I thought, I'll take a taxi to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and I need to be surrounded by culture right now, not tuna fish.